Good morning. We're back. Just a little tech difficulty. Apparently, if you want to go live now with people, make sure your Instagram is updated. So just a little FYI tidbit. Hey, McKenna. Okay, I'm going to invite you. Hey. So for those of you just joining, we had a little tech difficulty where we had to hop off for a second. If you want to go live with people, apparently now you have to have your latest version of Instagram updated. So, hey!
Hey, so sorry about that. I had no idea.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't realize that either. I'm like, okay.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, your Instagram's being glitchy. Oh, no.
Oh.
Are you on Wi-Fi?
Difficulties.
If you're on Wi-Fi,
we better? Yep. Just add it on.
Yeah, you're back.
Yay. Okay, good.
Okay. So this is McKenna. How do you pronounce your last name? Is it Reitz or Reitz?
Right. So you had it correct the first time.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
I never because there's like so many different pronunciations of different names. So I just always like to check. Oh, you're frozen again. Oh no. I'm wondering if it's my Wi-Fi or if it's your Wi-Fi. Am I freezing for anybody? Or is it just McKenna? Oh, it's really freezing. Is everybody frozen? I think we've lost McKenna. It's just McKenna?
Is it better?
Yeah, you're back.
Nope. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear
now
you.
it won't let me flip. There we
go. You're freezing again. It's not a coffee chat unless there's some form of a tech difficulty. It's still cutting out for some reason. Are you on Wi-Fi? If you're on Wi-Fi, maybe switch to data. Sometimes.
Hey, Greg. Yeah. Can you ever pause Netflix, please?
It's paused. We'll turn it off though.
Yeah.
You're
we
back.
Good now?
you okay. Digitized, but you're back.
Okay. I had my daughter turn off Netflix.
It's got, yeah. Netflix pulls stuff. Oh, Netflix, you're messing up coffee chat. So, McKenna is a motivational speaker, for those who don't know. Yeah, McKenna is still freezing. Darn it! Okay. Yeah, it's still freezing, McKenna, unfortunately. Okay, I don't know. I think we've lost her. So McKenna is a motivational speaker. For those of you who don't know her, if we can't get this to work right now, and then I don't know, possibly reschedule. She's like really frozen. Am I frozen for everybody? Is it still just her? Just wanted to double check that it's not me too. Kev or Ben, if you're in the audience, if you're still watching, you want to let me know if I'm frozen or if it's just her. Oh, McKenna had to jump out. Okay, well, good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk while McKenna is sorting out the internet and see if we can get her back on. I am just coming off a week and a half of filming. We just finished filming The Taste of Blood, so I'm excited to share that with you when it comes out. If I look a little tired, that is why, because I've been pretty long days. Some days we got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so fun, so still catching up on sleep. And this is the first coffee chat back from after filming. So yeah, you're solid, Jen. You say that, but I feel like in the eyes here, Matt, that I'm looking a little tired, but that's okay. Looking forward to hopefully chatting with McKenna if she can get her internet sorted out. These things happen. It's live internet, so sometimes you have tech issues, and sometimes you get it to work, and sometimes you get it to not work. How's everybody else doing this morning? Hey, Leanne. So Leanne joined. Who else is here? Let's scroll back. Peter, I noticed, joined. I don't know if Peter's still here. Mark joined. I know Ben's here and Matt's here. And Tiffany, I believe I saw you too. And good morning, Alyssa. Hey, Leanne, we're just having some tech difficulties. I'm just waiting to see if McKenna is able to get, McKenna's trying to join back in. Okay. I'll invite you again, McKenna, and see. You're back. Hi.
Is that better? I moved locations.
Sometimes that helps. Our internet is very spotty in our living room. Yeah. I've learned to do these lives from downstairs because then my modem is right there. 'Cause up in my living room, it's very spotty too. So.
No, yeah, there's hot spots. I don't get my house. It's ever since COVID, like trying to run 4 things at once is just ridiculous. But hey, we figured it out. I appreciate your patience. I apologize.
No worries. I totally get it. I'm learning how to ramble now. It's fun.
Perfect. Yay.
I'm just saying, good morning, everyone that's saying good morning to me. I was just asking how everybody's morning is. Good morning, everyone.
Or good my computer, please.
Yeah. Or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Because some people
right, exactly.
Yeah. Good whatever, wherever you are. So McKenna is a motivational speaker. And did you want to give a little background? Because you've been in the news a lot lately.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I live in Toledo, Ohio. I have 2 beautiful daughters who are 9 and 5. And then I have an amazing husband who's bringing me my computer so I can turn on more light. Because it's pretty dark in my, there we go. And I actually, that's really right. I actually teach AP psychology. And I coach varsity volleyball, but I also am an inspirational speaker, as you said. And yeah, I've been very fortunate to be in the media a lot lately. My ultimate goal is to share my story. And so in November 2015, I lost all of my hair due to autoimmune disease called alopecia. Mm-hmm. And when I thought that alopecia had ripped away my identity from me, it actually gave me my true identity, my true purpose in life. And that's to help others transform their life challenges, regardless if it's having alopecia or just anything in life, and be able to transform it into an opportunity, as I have. And so that's been my ultimate goal, is just to show that we are resilient as people, as women, as men, and that life's going to throw us challenges every damn day and adversity, and we are strong enough to get through it.
Exactly. Just a little background for those of you who aren't sure what alopecia is it a hereditary thing?
It can be.
It can be. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately they don't know any of the causes. So there is a genetic link, but then there's also a stress link, or it's the perfect storm, but there is no one cause. They don't know, and there's no cure either. Yeah,
I'm just wondering because I wasn't really aware of alopecia until I started speaking with you. And my grandpa, after he was out of the war, they said he had a nervous disorder, but he lost all of his hair. So I'm wondering if that could have been alopecia.
I bet you it was. Yeah. Because, I mean, think about the stress that obviously he went through. Which war was he in?
I'm assuming it would have been World War II, because he was building. He passed away when I was in grade 10, so that would have been 2000. Yeah. So I'm assuming World War II.
That's my grandfather fought in World War II, so I'm assuming. I would say that for sure that stress that was put on him probably was a big thing. And the crazy thing is that there's nothing physically wrong with me. You know, it just, all it does is it attacks my hair follicles and causes it to fall out. And there's many different types. There's areata, which is just spots in your head. There's totalis, which is your entire hair loss in your head. And there's universalis, which is loss of your entire body hair, which, and that's mine. That's what I have. So I have 0 hair on my body.
Yeah, which could be a benefit because I hate shaving my legs.
Exactly. Like that's the silver linings, is we have to be able to find silver linings, and it's amazing because, you know, I don't have to shave. It takes me 5 minutes to get ready. Like it's great. I mean, I just have to worry about putting my eyelashes on, and I get my eyebrows microbladed, and other than that, I'm perfectly good.
I envy your eyelash game. I tried putting on false eyelashes the other day, and I'm like 3 tries. I'm like, I give up. They're going
Yep.
in the car.
It took me probably a good like 2-3 solid years to figure it out, and like the perfect glue and the perfect eyelash type that works for me.
Okay, so I'm not.
I agree with you. It took me forever, and just like screw it, but it works now. It's like I can do it in my sleep.
That's amazing because I'm like trying to like, as the makeup artist told me, there's no such thing as a quick eyelash. I'm like, now somebody tells me.
Right, exactly.
It's not working. Screw it. I'm like,
Right.
that's scary. So from there, were you in motivational speaking before you had alopecia, or did you get into it because of your alopecia?
I'm gonna say both, because I teach psychology. I get to teach about life, and so I feel that every day I'm up in front of my classroom, in front of my juniors and seniors, I'm teaching. Like I feel like I'm motivating them, and it's always been a part of my core. You know, coaching varsity volleyball also. But I've gotten more into it, obviously, with my story, and feeling really empowered because of my hair loss. And there goes my little one running. You know, so it's given me that purpose. And so my ultimate goal now, my ultimate dream, is to eventually get out of the classroom and just do this full time, empowering others and inspiring others through my story, and you know, being able to turn your mess into your message, because it's so important, because everyone has a unique story. Everyone does, not just me, not just you, everyone. And we need to hear each other's stories to understand that we're not alone in this world.
Exactly. Yeah, there's so many people afraid to share their authentic selves online, because of judgment or bullying or like fear in general. And it's sad because then they're putting on a false facade, and you can kind of feel like an imposter when you're not being yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's, you know, and that's what I've learned, you know, with teaching and just with myself, that we compare ourselves so much. Of, I wish I looked like that. I wish I was that confident. I wish I was a mom who did fun things like that with my kids. Like, but what I've learned is that your journey, I'm in a completely different spot on my journey than you're on your journey. But yet I want to compare myself to exactly where you're at, even though you've been on your journey longer, whatever it may be. So we need to stop comparing, and we need to start being inspired by one another, and be inspired of where you're at on your journey, and say, oh, you know, what am I going to be able to do to get there? What are my action steps to be able to take?
Yeah, don't compare somebody's like middle point to your beginning point.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, it's a common thing to want to compare yourself to somebody's middle point, because you're not thinking that that's their middle point. You just see them there and you want to be there, right?
Exactly.
And yeah, so I think that's good that you mentioned that, because so many people just go, oh, I see so and so doing that, and I want to do that. Why am I not doing it? It took them a fair amount of time to get there, and they had to go through their journey to get there. So
it's just like thinking about, we didn't just jump on a bike and start riding it when we learned. It took us time to learn how to ride a bike. It's the same thing, you know, watching someone run a mile and run it in 6 minutes, which is never my case ever. But they've been running for years, where I can't just go out and run a 6 mile. I'm going to have to really work hard, and it's probably still never going to happen. But still, like, you just be inspired by their motivation and their confidence to be able to get you to that point, maybe.
Yeah, I definitely can't go and run 6 miles right now. I'm done.
Nope. I don't think I can get under 8 minutes. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, like, and I think we should bring up too that your journey, even if you don't know where you need to go yet, that's completely okay too. For those of you who aren't sure what they want to do in life, right? And that's where going through that journey can be helpful to get you to your place. As you mentioned, like, you came across something because of something else, right?
Yeah.
Like, I went through, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I just, when I lost my hair, I didn't know where I was going to be, what I was going to be able to do. Like, am I
Yeah.
going to be able to do this for the rest of my life? Am I going to be an 80-year-old woman still wearing a wig? Because I wore wigs and I wore hats until June of 2019 because I
Mm-hmm.
I was embarrassed. I was ashamed, and I was so worried what other people were going to think. But in all actuality, it was me. It was me who was, battling everything. And yeah, you're given a mountain. God gives you a mountain for a reason. And sometimes it takes a long time for us to realize why we are given that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And once you realize it, there's endless possibilities and endless opportunities that await for you. But sometimes it takes longer than others to be able to figure it out.
Oh yeah. No, I totally get that mountain. Because I went through all school wanting to be a doctor, like a surgeon.
Wow.
The type of work on the babies in the mummies' tummies, and I got pregnant early, and that all changed. So my entire school year planning to be a doctor, just like
Yep.
so. I went through 15 years of what exactly am I supposed to do now? Because growing up, I was going to be a doctor and change the world through being a doctor. And when I was 20, I got pregnant early and had a baby, and then ended up starting a cake business. And through that cake business, I had all these side jobs because, again, I couldn't make that decision. Like,
Yeah.
almost like an identity loss, right? Like, you had this idea of this is what you're going to be, and you just got taken away. And finally, I committed to the cake stuff. It blew up. I ended up with a monthly teaching segment on Rogers TV. That show ended, and one of the producers knew that I had liked doing like musicals and stuff in high school, and saw this TV show that was looking for actors, and I went and tried out for it, and I got a role on that. They asked me to try out for the other TV show they were doing, got a role on that, and now I'm like a multi-passionate. I'm a cake artist, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm an actor, but it takes that journey to get there. And now that I'm settling into who I am, I'm able to share more, right? Like I was finally comfortable a month and a half ago sharing my eating disorder story, right? Because I've finally settled into accepting this is who I am now, and not like sitting in back there like, well, I was supposed to be this, right? Yeah. And that's that.
That's so important. That is so important. I mean, I talk to my juniors and seniors who are, excuse me, taking the ACT and, trying to think about college and what they want to be. And I tell them, you don't need to know what you want to be.
Yeah.
Like they feel this pressure. Either it's, I don't know if it's, more pressure from society or pressure that they're putting on themselves that they have to know what they want. I tell them, figure out what you don't want to be.
Yeah.
What don't you want to do for the rest of your life? Like, for instance, you want to be a teacher. You're like, no, okay, perfect. Check that off. Do you want to be sitting in front of a computer all day? No. Okay, check that off. Start to think about what you don't want to do, and then it'll kind of help you kind of when you're signing up for classes or trying different vocations, try it out. See if it works. If it's not for you, perfect.
Right. That's a good way to approach things. What do you not want to do?
Exactly. And the crazy thing is, like, when I went to college, all of the jobs were already created. You could either be a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or whatever. But now the jobs that they possibly could have for the rest of their life isn't even created yet.
Yeah.
Like there's so many endless possibilities because of technology and entrepreneurship that wasn't available 20 years ago. It's just insane. And so that's why I tell them you don't need to know what you want to be, because one, you'll never give yourself options. You'll never give yourself the ability to try something new. But two, it's not even created yet.
Not like this.
Right. Exactly.
They could invent something that isn't even on this planet yet. Yeah.
Right.
Matt says, I wasn't expecting to have this much of my perspective blow up this morning. Thank you both of you. No problem, Matt.
Love it.
Yeah. So what types of coaching do you do? Like, are you doing coaching programs? Are you doing like one-on-ones?
I am doing one-on-ones, but I'm very selective when it comes to one-on-ones just because of time frame. And I want to make sure that the people that I work with are I'm giving my 100% attention to. So what I will do is I'm going to be starting a group coaching, a mastermind, coming up in the next couple months, where I'm going to work with groups of people, and we're going to be doing like a weekly call type of, but I'm a person who wants to be this. I want face to face. I don't, for me right now, you know, creating a course, I want to be interacting with people. I want to be helping them out verbally, physically, emotionally, mentally. But I do have a TED Talk coming up. I'm going to be doing a TED Talk in 3 weeks in Philadelphia, which I'm really excited about. And I have my book coming out in June called Having a Bad Hair Day, turning life challenges into opportunities. And it's all about, you know, looking at that and thinking, you know, am I really having a bad hair day? Like, you could be me and like really having a bad hair day, but it's just, we need to be able to put our life challenges into perspective. Is it as bad as it, you know, is it really that bad? You know, and sometimes it is, but we can't compare my bad hair day to your bad hair day because it's completely different. And we all view mountains differently. And we just need to support one another unconditionally. And so that's what I want people to realize is stop comparing, continue to be inspired. And I'm going to support you unconditionally. And if I think you're making a mountain out of a molehill, I'm going to support you. And we're going to figure out that mountain where it might be a molehill to me. It's a mountain to you. So, but I'm still going to support you.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. You touched on two great points. Is one is comparison is such a just killer of everything.
Exactly.
And stop comparing yourself. The only person you should be comparing yourself is the person you were yesterday. I know it's like that's total cheeseball saying, but it's true because I'm not you, you're me.
Exactly. And you know, I heard a saying that make yesterday's best today's worst.
Yeah.
So, you know, every morning you wake up, you think about what you're grateful for, and that little one that's walking right there. Hi, babe. Hi. And then thinking about what are my wins going to be today, and literally write them down and say them, not saying I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, saying I worked on chapter 1, or I cleaned off my kitchen island. I did this. And so you're already creating that action plan, but that's already making you better than you were yesterday. And you're going to focus on what was my best thing yesterday? What can I make today even better? And I think that that's so important.
Yeah. No, and you had touched on another great point too about the making a mountain of a molehill. I believe the technical term for that is horizontal thinking, where we go one thought after one thought after one thought, and we stay in this lane instead of moving up here and looking at it from a different perspective and be like, no, 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 it's not actually that bad. If I come up here and look at this from a different level, it's actually this, and we can go here with this in the solution. And I think so many of us get stuck in that horizontal thinking and the tunnel vision. I know I do, not as often because I've learned to pull myself out of it faster and I catch the horizontal thinking. When you become aware of it, you can catch it faster, right?
Absolutely. And I think the in order to catch it, we can only do so much alone. You know, greatness, I truly believe, is achieved through together. And so that's why I'm a firm believer that everyone needs a coach. Everyone needs an outsider's point of view to say, hey, you've been stuck on this one lane highway for too long. We might need to take that exit or go up that hill and be able to look from a new perspective and just have, and it needs to be someone who, you know, having a good friend is great, but having someone who isn't afraid to be honest with you and to, you know, help you and challenge you. And I think that's the biggest thing. And that's why I love surrounding myself with people like you that challenge you and inspire you and empower you and are going to help you fall forward and build yourself up rather than sticking in the past.
Yeah. You're not doing yourself any favors if you are denying the thing that needs to be said. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you're sugarcoating it or dancing around it or pretending it doesn't exist, it doesn't help you. Yeah.
And that's the way I teach. And I think, you know, at first I come off really kind of, I don't know, bitchy, I'd say, but I'm just a very straightforward person. I don't have time to beat around the bush. I'm going to figure out what's the best way to approach it for you. And that's how, you know, as psychology, I understand the differences of how people, like, for me, as when I played in college, I could yelled at, like, just yell at me, just tell me that I suck and whatever. But there's other people, there's my husband. There's other people who need, you know, it to be kind of flowered up just a little. And it's realizing how to interact with people so they can be as effective and productive as possible. And that's just called flexing. I call it flexing, that we all have different personalities. And in order for our team to be effective and productive, we have to be able to flex our strengths and understand our weaknesses and each other's weaknesses so we can all thrive better together.
Exactly. 2 seconds. My kid's joining. There's an echo. Guys, can you turn it down if you're going to listen?
I love it.
Joined. Yeah, no, that is so much inspiration and wisdom. And I feel like so many people could benefit from your stuff. And I would love to share where they can find you before I forget. So right?
Yep. I have a website. It's just McKennaReitz.com. It's just my name, .com, where they can find more information and contact me. Instagram is always a great place. You can always DM me through there. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, all underneath my name. You know, I try to make it as easy as possible to be able to find me. I have a YouTube channel, but that's just up and running. It's very, very, very young. But you know, I mainly put all my time and focus into Instagram, Facebook, and my website.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I will tag McKenna below this video when we're done too, so you can find her with all these things that she just mentioned. But awesome. I feel like another great too, we're not beating around the bush. And I feel like I'd love to explore that one more, because so many of us go and we beat around the bush, or we get into complaints or negative thinking. And we just don't actually go do the thing that we need to go do because of that. Is there like a specific reason you find why people do that? Is it fear-based? Is it like, is there a specific reason you find people don't want to do that? Again,
I think there's a lot. I think there's that fear of judgment. I think is a big thing. But is it fear of judgment of what other people think of you, or how you look to them? I think that's, you know, a big standpoint of it. Fear of failure is a huge aspect of human nature. We're so afraid to fail that we don't even try. But what's the worst that can happen? You fall, you get right back up. What's the worst people can say? No. Okay, thank you for your time. I'm going to move on to the next thing. But you know, as humans, we are always so concerned what other people think. We're so concerned how they think of us, how we make them feel. But if it's a true friendship, if it's a true connection that you have with that person, then you can truly be unconditionally supportive. And, you know, I can tell my husband and be straightforward with him, and he knows that it's allowing for him to be better, you know, and vice versa. And, you know, we have to be able to, sometimes when someone's being constructive with us, we need to take a step back, realize where their motive is. Is their motive to help us, or is their motive to hurt us? And hopefully more times than not, it's going to be to help us. And then we're going to be able to take it in differently than if it's a different.
Yeah. And that's the great distinction too, understanding whether or not it's helping or hurting us, that advice. Because sometimes people give us advice and it actually hurts, because it's not coming from a place of love and constructiveness. It's coming from a place of maybe jealousy or hate, or maybe somebody's stuck in a not so great relationship with somebody. So that's the thing, is telling you to take somebody's constructive advice, understanding the difference between constructive advice and something that's actually hurtful, right?
Right. And I think the other big thing is if it is coming from a motive of wanting to hurt you, then a big lesson that I've learned from my husband, who tells me, what do they matter to you?
Yeah.
Like, why are you going to allow what they say to affect how you feel?
Yeah.
And if they don't matter to you, if they're not a part of your circle, then don't ever allow what other people say or think of you to ever dictate how you think or feel about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's sometimes easier said than done.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But it is a very great point. If they're not in your circle, then why are you wasting so much time worrying about what that stranger said about yourself? Yeah.
Exactly. And, and that's, life in general. We have to realize and focus on what do we have control on in our life. We as humans, we want to be in control of so much in our lives. And we will do anything and go through great lengths in order to get into control. But sometimes we have to step back and say,
yeah,
I can't control this. Like, it is literally out of my control. For instance, losing my, like, it was out of my control. But what is in our control is our mindset and attitude towards that problem or that situation.
yeah.
And like, literally, a couple weeks ago, I literally was standing in my front hallway and I just literally said to myself, this is out of my control. Like, I don't have any control. And I was able to move on. Whereas before, I would just live on it and just, dwell over it for so long. And then I allowed it to affect the rest of my day or the next day or the next day and how I interact with people. But now I'm able to consciously think to myself, I don't have control over this. I'm going to focus on my mindset about it and just move on.
Yeah, and that's that pulling yourself out of that horizontal thinking thing that we brought up earlier. Catching it, it's like, wait, no. Don't do this to yourself. Like, move your attention over here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like you need a tool to pull yourself out of that thinking. Like, I was lucky enough to go through a coaching program that taught me that stuff. But for those of you who don't have it, you almost need like a pattern interrupt to stop that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is a little thing that you could share? People pull themselves out of that quicker. Like, is there like something that you could share that they could catch that or just begin to try to catch that?
For me, it is looking at every situation, and what we talked about before is finding the silver lining. It's turning a negative into a positive. You can do that in every situation. Some situations are going to be a lot more difficult than others, and you're going to have to find really dig deep to find that silver lining. But even if it's, just literally saying something out loud. And when we say something out loud, what we're doing is we're strengthening that neuronal connection.
Yeah.
That is going to then allow that neuronal connection of switching it over to positivity to spark even more and a lot quicker and allow it to be contagious into other actions. And it just starts to bleed into everything else that we do.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you before I forget, because I ask everyone on Coffee Chat, what's your best advice for your younger self?
I have a lot. I have a lot. I think, honestly, I'm just going to make it as simple. And it's something that I literally just posted today, but just be authentically me. I was so concerned with what other people thought of me all my life. I wanted to be accepted and I was so worried what other people thought of me. And I just needed to just be me and just live my full life and just be me and not be so concerned what other people thought of me. And I think I would have been freed a lot sooner. And it's amazing that it took my hair to fall out for me to finally realize and to be authentically me. But things happen for a reason. My mom always says God gives the strongest people the toughest challenges. And of course, we always say, why me? But again, you'll find out. You'll figure it out. It might take longer than other times, other people, but you'll figure it out.
Yeah, such great advice. Be authentically yourself. And again, sometimes easier said than done, but then you have great people like McKenna through it.
Well, thank you.
No
thank
problem.
you.
Okay, so there's 2 comments. Jen tells me like it is all the time to better my world. That's my best friend. Of course I tell her like it is.
That's
awesome. Go McKenna, looking forward to seeing all the abundance that is flowing into your life. Wonderful. And nothing is an accident. Go you, be what you were born to do. Exactly.
Love it. Thank you, Lisa.
So what is there advice you'd like to share with people as some takeaways from today of what you're doing, whether or not it's like a tidbit from your TED Talk or just in your regular coaching, just a couple tidbits to get people started? And
yeah, I think, 2 things. I'm just, reiterating that the problem is not the problem. The problem is the attitude about the problem. And It's all about you and how you approach every single problem. And then, making your mess your message. And, we talk about that so much, but not only make your mess your message and share it with the world, but make your message is medicine for someone else. And so I want you to think about how by you sharing and being authentically you are going to help out at least one other person, and you're going to empower and inspire them to be their authentic self, and not to feel alone, you know, because we feel so alone in this world where we're surrounded by billions of people. You know, when I lost my hair, I felt like the woolly mammoth. Like, I didn't know anyone else who had alopecia. I'd never seen another bald white woman, you know, like I felt so alone, and no one understood what I was going through. But the more people share, the less we feel alone, and realizing that, yeah, you might not have hair loss, but you know what? I'm seeing you've gone through a situation, you've been resilient, you've gone through it. Maybe so can I. And so I think that's just keep sharing and just continuing being you. Just you do you. Just stop comparing.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point that you just touched on too, is share your story, because you don't know who you're helping, right? And even if it's just one person, you're still helping. We get into these stuck mindsets of, oh, we need to help so many people, but what if you just need to help one person with your story? Like,
exactly. For instance, like seeing Drummond on here, like I know has an incredible story, and when he shared his story, I guarantee you, not only did he help one person, but he helped hundreds of people by sharing their story. They didn't feel alone. And that's, you know, that's why I just feel so inspired by people like that, and people like you to, you know, give us platforms and to continue sharing our stories.
Yeah, no, Ben's awesome. If you haven't checked out Ben, he's on here, Drummond Culture, DRUMMOND, and then the word culture. He has an awesome Instagram live series too, where you can catch more of McKenna over on his channel, because I know you did one with him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. McKenna is Queen, Ben says. Yeah. So, some key takeaways, if we want to like condense it down for people, is be your authentic self, right?
Yep.
Show up and share your story would be another one. And don't get stuck in it all, right? I believe we're three. Yeah. So show up and be yourself, right? Don't get stuck. Now I forgot the third one. Yeah, be your authentic self, show up and share your story, and then don't get stuck in it, right? You can you can choose how you react to a situation, just because you can't control necessarily the situation, you said, but you can control how you react to it.
Yeah. And I think the overall thing is you don't need to do this journey called life alone. Lean on others, you know, allow others to give you advice and know where they're coming from, because you will thrive and you will be better than you were yesterday because of others.
Yeah, exactly. Ben says, oh, I love you all. So what would be the next steps if somebody did want to work with you?
Yeah, so just DM me, and then and I would love to just talk to them. And you know, within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be launching my new program, so you know they can sign up for my newsletter to get on my email list to be able to get that information. They can just do that on my website. That'd be the best way. And if anyone has any big events coming up that they need an inspirational speaker at, I would be more than happy to talk to them about that possibility.
Amazing. Okay, so again, I will tag McKenna's info below here. Before we go, does anybody have any questions? Because I know a lot of what she was saying was resonating with people on here. So I'm just wondering if anybody has any questions on anything we touched on, showing up being your authentic self, pulling yourself out of crap, any of that type of stuff. We'll wait a couple minutes before we jump off, just because I know there's a bit of a delay. Allow you to answer some more questions if anybody has any. How's your week going? I know
it's great. Break, so I'm happy. So
nice.
Kids are home, and you know, spring break, getting stuff done, you know, getting that extra checked off list. And it's been pretty decent weather here in Toledo. Today it's supposed to be a little bit chillier, and we're supposed to actually have snow tonight, which is not fun, but Easter weekend is supposed to be 70 and sunny, so we're excited.
Yeah. How was the process of hair falling out? How long was the process of hair falling out? I think that was a typo. How long was the process of hair falling out?
So November 1st, 2015 was the last time I took pictures with my family with hair. which is crazy. And that was for our Christmas cards. And so my oldest was 3 and my youngest was only 4 months old. And within a week and a half, it had already receded back. And probably by the end of November, 90% of it was gone. It was unbelievable. And so, you know, people, in retrospect, I'm really happy that it went so quickly. It was kind of like pulling the Band-Aid off quickly. You know, at the time it was terrible. It sucked. But, you know, looking back in hindsight, I'm so glad it went quickly because I couldn't imagine just prolonging it. It helped get things going quicker.
Exactly. No, that would have been tough if that had gone on longer, because then you're worrying about it and you're seeing it happening over a longer period of time instead of just coming into acceptance of it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I was in such denial, I mean, which is okay. And I'm telling myself it was okay to be in denial. I was in denial. And I refused to get a wig. I would just wear almost like a survivor buff, and just cover my head that way until for like about 5 months. And then I finally went and got my first wig because I felt that if I got a wig, then I was accepting it and then my hair would never grow back.
Yeah.
And it was a mental war that I was going on inside my head. But, you know, every day you just take one day at a time.
Is there any advice you'd give to people about how to come into acceptance of yourself? Like I have like books and stuff that I could reference, but I feel like sometimes a book doesn't do it as much as having a physical advice from a person. So I know.
I think, you know, people always say it takes time. And I always want to punch people in the face when they say it takes time, because I don't want it to take time. I want to wake up and, you know, I prayed so hard that I'd wake up and my hair was back, or I prayed that I'd wake up and be like full acceptance of me. It doesn't happen that way. And once you can accept that things don't happen overnight, and that you have to trust the process. By seeing me that I've gone through the process, I've gone to hell and back, like it is possible. And that you will find out how strong you are and how resilient you are. And, you know, my biggest thing is write out a list of all of the bad A stuff. I have a daughter sitting next to me that you've done in your life. Okay. So think about all of the things, whether it's minuscule or huge, you know, graduating to getting married to waking up in the morning, whatever it is. Every time you write down something more, you're going to feel a little bit more confident. You're going to puff your chest a little and sit up a little bit taller, but just continue writing things out and say them out loud, like, wow. And then see all the things you've done, and that you're going to start to get that acceptance of realizing that you're a lot more amazing than you've given yourself credit for.
Exactly. And if you need some extra help, McKenna is available. Or if you're not ready to speak to somebody in person yet, there was a book that I came across that was really helpful. It's called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. I don't know. And it's all about coming into an acceptance of yourself. So that's a good place to start if you're not ready for coaching yet. But if you are, like McKenna said, she has a coaching program coming up that you're welcome to sign up for. Has her newsletter. She has an amazing TED Talk coming up, which is cool. She's been on multiple news outlets. I'm pretty sure you could probably catch those past interviews on YouTube or past channels.
On my website, on Instagram, everywhere. I was just on Good Morning Washington last week. On Ticker News in Australia next week. I just booked that. I've been on Cheddar. So just a bunch of different avenues. Just my goal is just to continue getting my story out and helping to empower others.
And you're on Clubhouse too often.
I am underneath McKenna Reitz. I'm on there every morning. I'm in there. And then, you know, just depending on throughout the day or usually at night, but I'm trying to kind of push back because I became addicted to it, you know, just the connections that I've made. Like, for instance, I was able to connect with you and with Ben and, you know, such amazing people, and I've become better because of it. But I did notice myself kind of spending a little bit too much time. Going down the rabbit hole.
If you go on Clubhouse, they do have a feature where you can turn off notifications for a set period of time, so you go down a rabbit hole.
Exactly. You need to. I have to do it so often. And I'm like, right now I didn't do it and I keep getting all these notifications. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I turn it off to the next morning because I'm like, no, I'm busy today. I cannot go in there. Because then you get called up to the stage and you're like, but I can't really talk right now.
I know. I know. Right? Exactly. Like, I just want to sit in here and listen, but I got called up. Ooh, do I go up? Do I?
Yeah,
okay, I'll go up.
If anybody needs a Clubhouse invite that's looking to try and get on Clubhouse, you have to have an iPhone right now, unfortunately. They don't have the Android app out yet. They are working on it. But if you need a Clubhouse invite, I believe I have 6 invites available.
I have some too. Some people need it too.
Yeah, so just DM McKenna or I if you need an invite into Clubhouse, because there's some amazing chats on there with McKenna and other great people. Like Ben's constantly on there, as we keep mentioning, doing some amazing chats. He's got a self-love club on there, I believe. So that's a good place to start. Yeah. Okay, so I don't think any questions came in while we were chatting. I just want to double check. Is any last questions for McKenna before I let her go? Because I know she's crazy busy. Hello. Somebody said hello.
Hi.
I know she's busy, so I don't want to keep her forever.
You're good. I'm good.
Yeah, and if you have questions after the fact, please DM McKenna.
Yep.
On over to her page. Kev says, "Thank you both, brilliant, and loved it." Well, thank you.
Thank you.
A couple tech figured it out.
Yeah. Hey, but again, we're resilient. We overcome challenges. That's it.
See, it's funny that you say that, because like me 5 years ago would have been like, panic, oh my god, people are showing up, like what is happening? Like,
Me too.
Right? And now it's like, tech issues, whatever, like we'll be back, hang on a sec.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it was in my classroom when we started getting technology, like a projector wasn't working or my computer wasn't hooking up. I would be flipping out like, oh my gosh, what do I do? But now I'm just like, it's out of my control. There's nothing I can do at the moment. So why fret about it? Just laugh about it. And that, especially when you're in front of kids or in front of my children, like I need to set the example. And that's been my big why for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. We planned the tech issues, McKenna. We wanted to teach.
Exactly. I didn't update for that reason because I knew I wouldn't be able to get in. So I just thought, let's teach everyone a lesson.
Right?
It worked.
Yeah.
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 But please will not leave me alone. And I mean,
Okay, I'll be right there, Mac. Okay. Sorry, my daughter.
I love it. Love it. My other one's standing right here.
All right.
Oh.
Well, tag McKenna all of her stuff below this video. It might take a couple minutes to load it up, but then I will tag all that stuff: her website, her Instagram, her YouTube, all of that stuff. And I'll link Ben's too, so they can go over and watch your chat over on there. And thank you so much for joining me. It was so awesome having you, and I look forward to seeing more amazing things from you.
Yes, thank you so much. This was so much fun. Even with technical difficulties, this has been a blast, and I really appreciate this.
No problem. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Sounds great. Bye, guys. Thank you.